Hey guys, thanks for tuning in again, having a look at the Aussie Cruzer build. Things have changed a bit. Weather's definitely changed, pretty cold. Did some good flying in the Jabiru. Did about 6 hours. Took my daughter up to see her nan for school holidays, which is great. Onto the Cruzer. We're going to fit the wings. Hopefully by the end of this video I'll have the wings fitted. Stand by, enjoy this. Sanding the nose ring of the cow. Got a yogurt bucket with some sandpaper on it, and just gets the nose ring nice and round. Okay, engine cow. Got her all fitted. Took the blank off the front. Gone with 832 screws and my Tinnerman washers. It's looking really good. Trimmed it all up, sitting down flat. Took the joggle out, so this sits nice and flat. I'll put some anti-chafe tape post-paint on there. Just countersunk everything so everything sits down beautifully, nice and smooth. Got a knacker duct outline here to cut that out. Little spot to sand there, just cosmetics. And going to tape the top of this cow on this side, put some tape so that I'll just fill this gap. That'll be nice. And I'm going to fill this edge here. So we will, want the glue to go in here, just mark it to put tape or release on the bottom on this side, top on the other side. So I'll just bulb this up just to get that nice around there. Also another little spot, just take just a little tiny bit between those two marks, just get it to sit more nicer, and that is pretty much as far as the cow is going to go. Can really get tied down in the weeds here, I guess, and spend a lot of time on the cow. I'm still going to make an oil filler, do the ram air ducts at the front, do the knacker duct, and also the air cooler. Put some sort of rubber snorkel on that to capture all that air. I've also got to do some in around the prop hub. I'll do a fastener in there, so I'll play with that as well. But cow, like most things, get them pretty close to finished and then move on. So that's pretty much enough for now on the cow. Like I said, you could spend ages on this thing. One of those jobs when you're walking past, I lay up a oil cooler flap. I might cut a bit of aluminium first just to see how flat that sits. I might be able to roll it a bit just to get it to sit, so a bit of aluminium door might work okay. But yeah, that's the cow for now. Let's move on. Okay, well, I've got all the gear out and I've been anchor nutting the cow. Just move down the back here because I know I've got these panels, these access panels here. I'm also thinking about doing one up the top here in the dorsal fin for that pulley. But a consideration down here that I've got now is the way this is pilot hole drilled. What is there? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 holes just to hold this little panel on. If I did it from scratch, I'd probably do 4, maybe 6 at the most to hold that guy on. Now, if I go and anchor nut both sides of this, what did we say there was? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8. Another 16 rivets with the nut plates. I think it's just overkill. See where I'm going with this? So the other option is just rivet that on, and when the time comes, pop the rivets out. So these are what problems we came up with as a builder. Alright, so quick experiment here. These rear access panels, 8 holes, so I can go with anchor nuts. I've got the solid rivets and all the screws. So for one side, will be all of that. Let's call that 30 grams. So 60 grams down the back there, being a panel on each side. Or, as the plans say, just 8 A4 rivets. So I've pulled 4 just to get rid of the stems. So we'll double that, which doesn't even register. Try that again, 0. Let's call it 1 gram, maybe 2 grams each side, times it by 2 is 4 grams. 4 grams. So I've just saved 56 grams, I guess, and that's right down the back. So you've got to save the grams to save the kilograms. So rather than all this hardware, I'm just going to go with 4 rivets. Okay, a little bit often. Just made a quick template, just out of wax paper. Trouble with the wax paper, or trace baking paper, I think it is. The tape doesn't stick to it too well, but made that out of paper. Cut it out of my, it's almost like boot liner, but it's that nice soft interior carpet. I like it because it drapes, and whacked it on there. Just need to neaten the edges up a bit. Got the big thick window seal, it'll hide in there. Stuff those down in the slots when the time comes. Just figured it's quicker and easier to do that now and throw it in the cupboard then once the windscreen's on, or at the same time. I will do my double-sided tape trick. Also I need a hole for my GPS antenna, which is up there somewhere. Looking good, we're getting there boys, getting there. Okay, chopping and changing a bit. Rudder fairings. Got my cable there, this is just rubbish from the hardware shop, but just it's good to use it, 1/8" cable. These are supplied with the kit, it sort of can't work out. I think I'm just going to go with a hole, an angled hole, so it can't miss and rub on the skin. So I made mine out of a bit of old chopping board, or new chopping board, which is now old. Better not take that one home. Now this will fit on the outside, about there. And now just find that hole. I'll drill through and then lay the drill over, make a bit of a slot. Beautiful. Alright, couple of hours work. Got the rudder exits installed, just with the phenolic in the back there. Beautiful. One of those little jobs done. Took the fin off just for simplicity. Once again I took my door sills off up the top there and the sunroof, took that off just to get them out of the way. My priority is to get the wings right, and that sort of cosmetic stuff we'll get on later. I've bolted the stab on. I've actually painted the bolts red because I'm going to throw them in the bin once this exercise is finished, and I'll fit new ones post painting. So stab is 0 and horizontal in relation to the cabin frame. Yeah, stripped it all back. Still doing a bit of work on the cowl. The cowl's over there in the distance, so just put some fiberglass on that. And hooking in now, just knocking up some frames for my wing stands, which will sit out here, help me put the wings on. Let's do it. So just a square frame going together. A few people have mentioned you could use a ladder. Then I'm actually going to use these frames in my paint booth. So dual purpose. Hopefully the wing will fit in there. Imagine if that was the wing hanging down, and then I'll be able to spray paint it. That's the plan. Right, there's the wing stand. However, I should have put these on the inside, so I'm going to have to redo it because that's 90 by 35, so I'm 70mm too high. I can sort of see that. If you look over here, it gives the impression of way too much dihedral. It's easier to chock it up than it is to put the wing on and then try and lower it. So I'll modify that. Take two. Right, just getting my struts ready to mount. I've gone through, made sure the bolts fit through all the holes, both on the struts, the aircraft. The struts fit to the aircraft. Obviously I have to cut and manufacture this end. While I'm waiting for some manpower, so I've got my wing stands there ready to go. There's one on the other side over there. Just went on with my throttle cable. So, as you probably, if you've been following me along, 3 goes at this now, but really happy. So I've got a ball link. I made up a bracket in there to support the Bowden cable with a clamp. That's what I come up with anyway. Got a hole in a right angle, band sorted in half, riveted it back together to clamp the Bowden cable. And then I'll show you the throttle, actual handle. So now it's absolutely effortless, and the spring on the carby actually returns the throttle, so there's no friction there whatsoever. So it's spring loaded to 100%. So I went from a daggy throttle to perfection, if you like. So a bit of a scrape there, that's just the friction knob. So go to idle, friction on, only needs quarter turn and stays at idle. And then take the friction off, it'll go into, goes to 100% off the spring. So really happy, it was worth the wait and the effort for the throttle. Right, waiting for a few mates, get the wings on. In the meantime, just trying to get this sticky stuff off the windows, terrible. Using eucalyptus oil. So, seems to be working, just slow. It'll get it off the sunroof and then work on the windscreen. There's some fun jobs, and there's those jobs that just drive. Alright, so no sponsors here, but what have I used to get the gum off my windshield, which is there. Bit of Marcel Marceau. No, it's actually just here. So it's taken me about 2 hours of scrubbing. Whole roll of paper towel. I think it was Stephen Green put me onto this, one of my Aussie mates, eucalyptus oil. So that got sort of dab it on and soak the paper, peel the paper off, then you're left with the glue. The eucalyptus oil melts the glue and moves the glue around a bit, get sort of 80% of it off. And then in our supermarket, local supermarket, Coles or Woolies I think it was, this stuff's called Orange Power. It's a 110ml bottle, biodegradable, Planet Arc, removes sticky residue. So it's in a bright orange bottle at the supermarket anyway, in with the laundry detergent and all that sort of stuff. Found this stuff really good. It sort of smells like orange, believe it or not. I didn't want to go too heavy on the chemicals, metho or you know, any of the other stuff. Like with most of my build, I've got this about 85–90% now. It's going to get covered in fingerprints. I've still got to glue the seal on, and still got some drilling to like upsize the holes. But for now, really happy with that. One of those that has to get done, and yeah, so I can go back under the cupboard now, move on to the wings. Righto guys, back out in the hangar, 7 o'clock at night. Footy's on tonight, but it is like 12 degrees Celsius. Starting to think about a heater in the hangar, I think. Everything's cold. Pick up nuts and bolts, nothing worse than when your nuts are cold. So I'll get some heat into the hangar. Slowed down a little bit on the Zenith. I had a problem with the jab, so I went on a nice trip on the weekend, took my daughter up to, last week, took my daughter up to see my mum, her nan, and developed a little bit of a stutter. It failed the a Maggie check, for those familiar with a 2 magneto engine, so obviously the Jabiru 2200 in this aircraft. It's just starting to let me know that just a knock every now and then and running rough, that sort of thing, but intermittent. So when I got back,
started with the fault finding, went straight to the plugs, because I did the 100 hourly in the last video, which was replaced all the plugs. I sort of knew that I'd induced an issue into the engine. So trying to find that, I guess, changed the plugs, looked at all the leads, changed the coil, and then I swapped the Maggies over. Initially I checked number 1 Maggie was on the left, number 2 Maggie was actually on the right. They weren't crossed over under the dash, but I'll show you what I found.
So just do it in the light here. It's on my magneto. You have a P lead, and this basically just runs back through the toggle switch to earth to shut the engine off. And it just had a tiny little, where are we? There. Well, it doesn't look that tiny anymore. Try and get it in the light. Get the focus. So a little rub mark you can see there on this lead. So the cheapest bit in the whole front of the aircraft, and that was just tapping on a bolt, which is, you know, earth is off, give me the stutter, and it would go away, you know, on occasions when I'd rev it up or it'd move or whatever. So yeah, if that helps someone out, that was what my little issue was. So waiting for mates to come to a club day tomorrow on Saturday. In the meantime, I bought the Flaperons out. It's amazing how time flies. I remember making these. So going to have a go at the donkey dicks. Why do we call them the donkey dick? Well, alright, so I measured in. My plans show 210mm from either this row of rivets or this face here, I guess. Puts me pretty close to this rivet here, so I've gone with the 1 rivet. Now you could, I've drilled these out, 3 holes, and it's 3 A5s and 2 in the leading edge. So you could try and utilise 2 existing rivets, but why make it hard on yourself? I've just gone with the centre one, and I'll whack another 2 rivets in. So trying to find 1 hole, it sort of can't miss. You're only lining up the 1 hole, top and bottom, and then just we'll drill the other ones to give me the 3 rivets, rather than try and space it. Anyway, that's where it needs to sit anyway, in between that line of rivets there. Alright, pretty straightforward sort of task that. Just match drill it, and pilot holes, match drill it. They don't actually fit perfectly, but that's steel, shaped steel, so, you know, I'm not going to bash that and try and make it any better. That is ready for paint. Just got to do these guys, the donkey dicks, got a date with the grinder, so let's call it a circumcision, eh? We're going to take a bit of weight out of this. So I think I'm going to drill up the rear, and then put fishing sinkers in as required. I think it's easier to add the weight than try and take it off and get it spot on. Alright guys, so I've got the wings on. Literally just threw them on today. Stands worked really well. Got the bolts in. Dihedral's pretty close. So yeah, looking good. Alright guys, might wrap that one up there. Probably been dribbling on a bit in this video. Lots of odds and ends happening. Made some great progress though. We got the wings on. Next video I'll go through rigging up the wings and we'll fit the struts. Thanks for watching.